Here's your host, Giuseppe Grammatico, the franchise guide.
I've been in the franchise world for, 20 plus years. So what do you recommend for someone, you have a lot of corporate executives listening in, they're looking to, they want to change. They want to kind of, take ownership of their future and look into their first franchise. So aside from the numbers, we all want to make money, and that's obvious. That's one of the reasons to get into business ownership. We call it financial freedom. But, what else, what do you recommend people should start looking at goal wise and things like that? Because that's something where I think people get the shiny object syndrome and they want the shiny object, the
Oh,
product
yeah.
service they use. So
Yeah. The number one thing that they should look at is themselves in a mirror. The biggest disappointment will be their own leadership. It really comes down to it. It's been, quite a journey, and it's really sad to see some people that they look at the item 19 that's published in the thing and they're like, "Oh, I can make this and this is great and this sounds easy." And, I've managed employees before, and, they hire people and people quit because they're not a good boss, that they don't know how to lead. I'd
yeah,
say the number one thing they should be reading and devouring is anything on leadership, anything on running a team. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of people say, "Oh no, I run a team at work." It's like, okay, did you ever build a team from scratch? It's one thing to kind of walk in as a manager. You got all these white collar employees that, you know, have degrees, and, there's a level of, it's different
it's
than
much
when you're
different. Yep.
building something from scratch and you're selling the vision for it. Your first few employees, you don't necessarily have a grant, depending on the franchise you're buying, of course. If it's brick and mortar and you got this, Pizza Hut, I mean, you kept something to walk into. But a lot of it, it's conceptual, and you're selling your vision, and it's your leadership. You're not offering necessarily out of the gate 401k and
Mm.
health insurance and all these things that we have in this corporate life. And I think that is the biggest smack in the face for some people that, and they always look at like the people that are doing the best, which you should. I don't like when people
Mhm.
look at people are doing the worst, and they think, well, if they can do it, I'm better than them.
Right.
I've got the whole corporate thing and all these things I've been doing. Starting your own business, whether a franchise or from scratch, it reminds me of that famous Mike Tyson saying, everyone got a plan till they get punched in the
Punch in the
face.
face. Yep.
You will get
I
punched
have a
in the
shirt that says that.
Yeah. And you will get punched in the face and the gut. I don't care what franchise you buy. I don't care how buttoned up or perfect. You will get punched in the face.
Yes. In other areas, yes, it's a constant. And you are right. Absolutely. As a franchisee, when I had employees come in, you're always competing. Well, so and so gave me these benefits. And we said we're a small organization. There's so much upside here as the business expands. We talked about phantom equity, getting a percentage of the profits at the end of the day. And some people like that, and it wasn't for others. And that was fine as well. But
And
you're
most
100%
people,
right.
they'll grab on a vision.
Yep.
When you say, "Hey, listen, we're going to grow this thing and you can be part of that." And yes, I'm hiring you here today. You might be doing intakes for in-home care, but at some point you can be a general manager. Heck, you can buy your own franchise. There's 6 people in this system that started out at the lowest level that own franchises.
Right.
That's what people grab to. And I think, like you just said, in the corporate environment, we think we only have pay, healthcare, 401k, like that. We think that's the
Mhm.
tool that keeps people. Why is everyone leaving corporate America that has those things? They all have it. Why are they raising their hand to say, "I want to do my own thing"?
Right.
Because it's dead for a lot of them. It doesn't. So we definitely have to get that out of our head. That's not why people stay, and that's not necessarily why people come. It might be why they look at us, but at the end of the day, people want to do something meaningful, and they want to be moving ahead in their own life. And if we can provide that through a franchise, then that is awesome. But we got to believe in it. We got to have the passion, and people will follow you.
Love it. Well, I mean, you nailed it. I like that. I like that. And looking in the mirror is step number one. That's so true. And some people just get overly excited, jump over all the important stuff. And it's like, okay, what are the products that I use every day? I'm going to buy a franchise there. And I go, well, that's probably not the best way to approach it. You can own any other business and buy all the coffee and burgers that you want. But ultimately, let's figure out what it looks like. Let's figure out if it's even available in your market, or even if you can even run it part-time, if that's something that you're interested in doing. So I learned a lot. I grew up in the family business. My family owned an Italian restaurant, but got into the franchise business. What are things that, from when you're going from a corporate executive to owning a franchise, what are the things that no one tells you? Because part of this journey is really setting the expectation of what's to come. So can you talk a little bit about that?
What is it that nobody tells you?
Leadership is key, but what are the harsh realities and misconceptions about the corporate to franchise transition that often trip people up? Ryan shares the unvarnished truth next.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to learn how to make the transition from corporate to owning your franchise, join Giuseppe on the next episode. You can also follow on all social media platforms and achieve financial and time freedom today.